this Mazda RX7 FD came to us already fitted with this massive body kit on it, big spoiler across the back and a huge roll cage, and it looked cool. Now, unfortunately, all that work, or a lot of it, had been done pretty badly. So unfortunately, we've had to strip this right back. Right, so this car doesn't look too similar to a Mazda RX-7 anymore with this massive body kit, but the standard one is a front engine, rear wheel drive, rotary engine powered sports car that was manufactured and marketed by Mazda from '78 until 2002 across 3 generations, all of which made use of a compact, lightweight, Wankel rotary engine. That's right, I said Wankel. Now, the rotary engine is a clever design, and this car as standard would have had only a 1.3 litre turbo engine producing 252 brake horsepower, going from 0 to 60 in just 5.3 seconds. Right, now let's go back to the start.
Now this one has got us all pretty excited. Mazda RX-7 FD. Now, as you can see already, this had a huge amount of work done to it with this G-face, handmade to order body kit from Japan. Tons of carbon fiber all over it. This was done by another company that went out of business. Took a year to get from order. So this is a pretty special body kit. Now the carbon fiber bonnet was already in primer. Apparently there's a few little bits that didn't look so great. So we're gonna take this primer off, have a look at that. Carbon splitters, we're gonna add some carbon vents as well. Carbon wing, carbon side skirts. This is a pretty trick car already. Now we're not gonna be doing the fit up of this. We're just literally gonna be doing all the bodywork, getting it perfect. So we've still got a ton of work to do. Super stoked to get it. It's one of 3 RX-7s we've got booked in at the moment. This one is gonna go 3-stage pearl, yellow. So it's gonna be a hell of a paint job. If you're a painter, you'll know yellow is not the nicest color to paint, especially 3-stage, especially when we do the interior as well. But yeah, let's get into the interior. The floors have seen better days. There's all repairs in there. It's had a couple of cages fitted in the past. It's not great. So we've been looking around for a replacement floor from a donor RX-7 for quite a while. Couldn't find one. So I think at the moment we're going to be putting flat floors in there, making new floors. Both sides. It's already had the cage done. That all needs sorting out, as in just finishing some of the welds on there. The back as well. We've got this fuel cell in the back. It looks really, really trick. It's really, really cool. You have this Perspex panel on the top there so you can see all the fuel in there. But it's had these about 4 different sections laid of the floor. There's no way we can fix this with filler. It's impossible to make that look pretty. So we're going to cut all that out and do that in one big piece. It also doesn't fit very well to the back panel as well. So that's going to be perfect. All bead roll panels on there. Feel like a race car interior for the street. Now this is just a show car. This is never going to see the racetrack or anything like that. So I'm hoping we could put aeroid on this as well. So we've got loads of work to do. Wing needs a bit of work. There's a surface rust windscreen in there, so we'll be bare metal in this. And where these panels are joined as well in the rear quarters. It's about perfecting everything that's been done. So in a nutshell, that is it. We're pretty much ready to start this now. First thing we're going to do is rip these seats out, which are actually really comfortable. Floors have got to come out first. We're going to put the flat floors in there, so they're going to be custom. Rip that back out, make a new back floor for there, so the interior looks mint. Take all this surface rust off the roll cage, so there's a lot of work to do just on the interior. But the thing is to do, get all the metal work done first, jump onto the body kit, and then jump onto the paint. Sounds easy when you say it quick, eh? But a lot of work. This is going to be cool as hell. Right, so starting at the front end, the gaps on this were shocking. Nothing was actually bolted down properly. Bumpers didn't fit the wings, all the rest of it, as usual with any body kit. But this had been fitted, so it was a bit of a surprise. So first thing for us to do was get the wings in where they needed to be and get everything gapped up as perfectly as we could. Now, we had to make our own mounting holes on the inner wings as well and make everything the same, both sides. So when you open the bonnet, bolt holes are exactly the same side to side. Before, you got 3 holes on the one and about 4 on the other. So that was all obvious. That all had to be done from the outset. Everything all had to be flushed in as well. So once everything was solidly mounted, then we could start the bodywork. So bonnet gaps were done, lights all had to be spaced up so everything just feels flush and everything is surfaced. Now with any body kit that we ever fit, nothing ever fits perfectly out the box. Now this inner edge there was a huge step between the two. We had to actually cut this on the inside, separate the 2 panels and put the inner mounting panel for the front bumper where it needed to be. Drill holes, mount it, refiberglass it so we can surface this all together and get everything looking flush.
and almost like Mazda would have done it that way and get everything looking perfect as possible. Now, another thing we had to do was cut 2 big holes in this carbon fiber bonnet. Now, it's a shame that the carbon fiber on this apparently isn't a perfect weave. Otherwise, we probably would have just left it, sanded all the primer off it and just left it raw carbon, because that looks cool. But because it's not, the owner bought some more bonnet vents for it, which look aggressive, but carbon also looks really, really cool. So cut 2 big holes in the carbon bonnet. They're gonna get bonded in there later. And then once all this is surfaced, that looks super cool. Also got some little panels to go around there as well in carbon, as well as the carbon side skirts and so on and so on, and rear spoiler as well. So there's a load of carbon to go onto this. So it's gonna look pretty trick. Right, so next job on this was getting door gaps correct. They just weren't set properly at all. In fact, this door was completely scratching the front arch, and it was scratching some of the side skirt because there's big carbon fins that go down here. It was actually touching when we got the car, so we've had to sort that out as well. We actually had to grind away part of the door, re-weld that, reshape the door to suit the wing, because that was the easiest way to do it. But we also had to do a load of filler work on here, actually cut the wing in one place, push it back where it needs to be, and re-fiberglass the inner part of the wing there to get that door gap. Pretty much the opposites had to be done to the other side, which still needs to get finished yet. We'll actually add filler around here because the gap is so big on that side. And that's the difference between the carbon fiber wings side to side. They're completely different. They look similar, but the door gaps that it's giving us side to side are completely different. So there's a lot of work going on there, and one thing that always stands out is gaps. You've got to get your gaps right. Otherwise, especially with a lighter colour, it just stands out like a sore thumb once it's painted. A lot of work on this. Then it was onto the rear quarters and the side skirts.
We're actually going to bond the body kit back on, but do it properly this time, rather than bolt on. Mainly because the body kit sat down there and the body lines just didn't look right at all. Would have been better if it was up there and followed the door line across. We didn't like the way it was going to look if we just simply bolted it on. So basically what we've done, took all the paint off there, got it back to bare metal, epoxied it, got the filler work done, stone chipped it because you can't get to it once the panel is bonded on. They're just about to bond the new panel back on. Everything's prepped, the panel is prepped, that's stone chipped inside. We're going to bond it on. Once that's gone off, over and leave it for a couple of days. You can start smoothing that in with filler work, blending it into the body, making it look like one piece. So yeah, time to go.
Right, so once all the front end was done, we knew we had to do all that. We knew I had to sort that from day one of this build. Now, it's when we got to the rear quarters that things started to get interesting for us. That being that there was cracks all along the edges where the panels had been bonded on by the past body shop. Now, we were hoping that it just needed the filler work doing properly. Upon looking and getting in there and sanding away the filler work that they'd done, we could tell that these panels are loose and there was no bond underneath there. In fact, they were just attached with a bit of fiberglass that they put around the edges. That was never gonna last. We couldn't repair that. The only way to do it was to take off all the filler work that they'd done, and across the sills, it was thick with filler. We had to remove all of that, take the panels off, and do it properly. Now, unfortunately, when we took those off, which was a lot of work and we wasn't expecting that, there was a load of different coloured paint and a lot of paint, a lot of material and filler work underneath here on top of the original quarters. So we took the decision. We always knew we wanted to take the paint off the roof because it would look like there was some surface rust coming underneath there, and on the boot as well. There was surface rust on there. So we always knew we wanted to take that back, but we made the decision then to strip the paint off the complete car. Also, there was so much material. I think we counted about 4 or 5 times that the doors had been painted, and that little ridge across there, you could hardly even see it. There was that much paint on there. You'd actually lost that little detail. So we took the decision to strip all the paint off. Now that is a dusty job, but at least we can guarantee what we're doing and we know what is on the car, starting from scratch. But also the one thing that we did find when we took all the primer and filler work and everything off the roof was this car is meant to have a dip in the middle. The roof is supposed to be that shape. That actually filled it. The filler on the roof was probably 15 millimeters deep in one place. So all that had to come off, get it into epoxy primer, and repair, make good all the standard bodywork underneath here, because we originally were going to make these removable. Now that again changed later on the job. The owner actually says, nah, I didn't think it was going to look good actually having these bolted on, because the line here just wouldn't have looked good. So we decided to actually bond them on as it was when he came in. We bonded them on properly, and we're just finishing up the fillwork now. Right, so we have literally just finished putting the floors in this. Now this was always part of the original job when it came in. We knew it needed a new floor. Now the owner searched around for months for an original floor pan. We just can't get one. Now the floor on this, originally it was rotten, it was rusted, there was patches on it, it was dented. It was beyond repairing. So we made the decision to make these custom flat bead rolled panels. Now, I think they look cool. I'm actually really happy with how these are going. And once this is in paint and everything's painted, everything looks the same, these are going to blend in quite nicely. Now, at some point in the past, someone had put an aftermarket pedal box in on the driver's side, which meant a lot of rectification, metalwork to get everything straight first, and then allowed us to put these in place. So yeah, I think this will look super trick once the carbon fiber bucket seats are back in on their rails. Next up was the boot floor. Now, it came in with a bead rolled boot floor already put in it in different sections, and it just looked a mess. There was no repairing that with any amount of filler work. So I made the decision to strip that boot floor out. Now, it's a good job that we did, because the framework for the floor fuel tank needed a load more bracing. That was never going to hold the weight of a full tank of fuel. So a load more bracing's been done in there, a load of panel work across the back as well, because that would been dented from maybe an old accident in the past. Straightened all that out and made this bead rolled panel to sit in there. Now again, when that fuel tank's in there and this is painted up, it's gonna look really, really, really cool. Right, so next up on this car is to finish all the filler work, get the car into primer, seal it all, and then we've got to build some pretty trick door cards for it. You may have noticed the NASCAR style door bars that completely go into the insides of the doors. Now, you can't get a door card to finish or fit that door anymore, and we don't want to be looking at the inside of the doors, so we're gonna have to make a door card for it, which is going to be a lot of work. So that's coming up next, and then it's prep and paint. So yeah, lots to do. This is a really, really cool car. I'm loving it. So yeah, stick around and we'll see you on the next build.